ज्ञानानन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकचक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिने नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वंशाकल्पतरुकृपासिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So we are continuing reading from Bhagavad Gita introduction. Last time we were discussing about the religion of the eternal living being. So yet a man professes to belong to a particular type of faith with reference to a particular time and circumstance, thus claims to be Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, or an adherent of any other sect. Such designations are non-Sanatana Dharma. So these are all bodily conceptions actually. A Hindu may change his faith to become Muslim, or a Muslim may change his faith to become Hindu, or a Christian may change to faith, so on. But in all circumstances, the change of religious faith does not affect the eternal occupation of rendering service to others. The Hindu, Muslim, or Christian, in all circumstances, is a servant of someone. Thus, to profess a particular type of faith is not to profess one Sanatana Dharma. The rendering of service is Sanatana Dharma. So, rendering of service to Supreme Lord is the Sanatana Dharma. Yes, sir. Swami, can you please read from here?
Factually, we are related to Supreme Lord in service. The Supreme Lord is the Supreme Enjoyer, and we live entities as His servitors. We are created for His enjoyment, and if we participate in that eternal enjoyment with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we become happy. We cannot become happy otherwise. It is not possible to be happy independently. Just as no one part of the body can be happy without cooperating with the stomach. It is not possible for the living entity to be happy without rendering transcendental loving service unto the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, worship of different demigods or rendering services to them is not approval. It is stated in the 7th chapter, 20th verse.
कामैस्तैस्तैर्हृतज्ञाना प्रपद्यन्ते अन्यदेवता तं तं नियममहस्ताय प्रकृत्या नियता स्वयाम्.
Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desire surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature. Here it is plainly said that those who are directed by lust worship the demigods and not the Supreme Lord Krishna. When we mention the name Krishna, we do not refer to any sectarian name. Krishna means the highest pleasure, and it is confirmed that the Supreme Lord is a reservoir or storehouse of all pleasure. We are all hankering after pleasure. Anandamayo Abhyasat. Vedanta Sutra 1.1.12. The living entities, like the Lord, are full of consciousness and they are after happiness. The Lord is perpetually happy, and if the living entities associate with the Lord, cooperate with Him, and take part in His association, then they also become happy.
Yeah, unless we take that pleasure in serving Krishna, like the food of the hand, single hand is put in the mouth, goes to the stomach, then actually hand becomes nourishment. The same way, the water is put in the root, though we don't see the root, then whole tree flourishes. Nevertheless, root is there. Without that, whole tree cannot stand. Whole metal world also cannot stand without the presence of the Supreme Lord. So we are cooperative enjoyers. The Lord descends into the mortal world to show His pastimes in Vrindavan, which are full of happiness. When the Lord Sri Krishna in Vrindavan, the activities with his coward boyfriends, with his damsel friends, with other inhabitants of Vrindavan, and with the cows were all full of happiness. The total population of Vrindavan knew nothing but Krishna. But Lord even discouraged his father Nanda Maharaj from the worshipping demigod Indra, because he wanted to establish the fact that the people need not worship any demigod. They need only worship Supreme Lord. because their ultimate goal is to return back home, back to God. The abode of Sri Krishna is described in Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 6th verse. Natad bhasayate suryo na sashanko na papakaha yad katvana nivartante tadhama paramam mama. The supreme abode of mind is not illuminated by sun, moon, nor fire or electricity. Those reached to never return to material world. Actually, these are verses about spiritual world. So many verses are there in Bhagavad Gita which talk about spiritual world. It is one of them. This verse gives a description of the eternal sky. Of course, we have metal conception of the sky. We have a metal conception of sky, and we think of its relationship to the sun, moon, stars, and so on. But in this world, in this verse, Lord states that in the eternal sky there is no need of the sun, nor the moon, nor electricity or fire of any kind, because the spiritual sky is already illuminated by the Brahma Jyoti, the rays emanating from the Supreme Lord. We are trying with the difficulty to reach other planets, but it's not difficult to understand the abode of Supreme Lord. This abode is referred to as Goloka in the Brahma Samhita. It's beautifully described. Goloka yavani vasatya kilatma bhutoho. The Lord is described eternally in the abode of Goloka, yet he can be approached from this world. And to this end, Lord comes to manifest his real form, Satchidananda Vigraha. When he manifests this form, there is no need of our imagining that what it looks like. To discourage such imaginative speculation, he descends and exhibit himself as he is, as Shyam Sundar. Unfortunately, the lesson didn't deride him because he comes as one of us and plays with us as a human being. But because of this, we should not consider the Lord one of us. It is by his omnipotency that he presents himself in the real form before us, displays his pastimes, which are replicas of those pastimes found in his abode. So this was a very important fact, that when the Lord comes and performs the pastimes here, that is for us to give an opportunity to understand what kind of world that he's talking about. Natad bhasayate suryo. He's giving an opportunity to understand, and he's showing particularly such wonderful, beautiful pastimes of, especially childhood pastimes are very, very attractive in Vrindavan. So he performed them to attract us to him. Okay. Can you please read ahead to?
Yes. In the effulgent rays of the spiritual sky, there are innumerable planets floating. The Brahmajyoti emanates from the supreme abode. Krishnaloka and Anandamaya, Chinmaya planets, which are not material, float in those rays. The Lord says, Nattat bhashyate suryo na sanksho
na sashanko na pavakaha yat gatva
nivartante tadhama paramam mama. One who can approach that spiritual sky is not required to descend again to the material sky. In the material sky, even if we approach the highest planet, Brahmaloka, what to speak of the moon, we will find the same conditions of life, namely birth, death, disease, and old age. No planet in the material universe is free from these four principles of material existence. The living entities are traveling from one planet to another, but it is not that we can go to any planet we like merely by mechanical arrangement. If we desire to go to other planets, there is a process for going there. This is also mentioned. Yanti deva vrata devan pitrayanti
pitrvrataha.
No mechanical arrangement is necessary if you want to interplanetary travel. The Gita instructs Yanti deva vrata devan. The moon, the sun, and highest planets are called Swargaloka. There are three different statuses of planets: higher, middle, and lower planetary systems. That belong to the middle planetary system. Bhagavad Gita informs us how to travel to the highest planetary system, Devaloka, with a very simple formula: Yanta Deva Ratha Devan. One needs only worship the particular demigod of that particular planet, and in that way go to the moon, the sun, or any of the higher planetary systems.
So particular demigod, when you pray, when we actually worship to that particular loka. Yanti deva vrata devan pitruni yanti pitra. So it's that way is very, very easy. So Prabhupada wrote easy journey to other planets on this base of the same verse. Yet Bhagavad Gita does not advise us to go to any other planet in the metal world, because even if you go to Brahmaloka, the highest planet, through some sort of mechanical contrivance, by maybe traveling for 40,000 years, who lives also long, we will still find mental inconvenience about the old age disease. But one who wants to approach the supreme planet Krishna Loka or any other planet within the spiritual sky will not meet with these mental inconveniences. Amongst all the planets of the spiritual sky, there is one supreme planet called Golok Vrindavan, which is the original planet in the abode of the original personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. All of this information is given in the Bhagavad Gita. We are given through this information, and instruction information, how to leave the material world and begin a truly blissful life in the spiritual sky. In the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the real picture of the mental world is given. It said, Urdhvamulam adhashakam ashwatham prahurapyayam chandams yasya parnani yastam veda saveda ved. Here, the mental world is described as a tree whose roots are upwards and branches are below. We have experience of the tree whose a tree whose roots are upward. If one stands on the bank of a river or in a reservoir of water, you can see that the trees are reflected in the water upside down. The branches go downward and the roots upward. Similarly, the mental world is a reflection of the spiritual world. Mental world is but a shadow of reality. In the shadow, there is no reality or substantiality. But from the shadow, we can understand that there are substance and reality. In the desert, there is no water, but the mirage suggests that there is such a thing as water. In the material world, there is no water. There is no real happiness. But the real water is actual there in the spiritual world. So this information also the Bhagavad Gita very nicely gives. So the gist of all the information that is given, so gist everything all together, Prabhupada writing here in the introduction itself. Yes, continue.
Yes. The law suggests that we attain the spiritual world in the following manner.
Nirmana moha chita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama bandvair vimukta sukha dukkha sanyai gacchantya modha paramavyayam tat.
That Padam Avyam or eternal kingdom can be achieved by one who is Nirmana Moha. What does this mean? We are after designations. Someone want to become sir. Someone want to become lord. Someone want to become the president or richest man or king or something else. As long as we are attached to these designations, we are attached to the body because designation belongs to the body. But we are not these bodies. And realizing this is the first stage in the spiritual realization. We are associated with the three modes of material nature, but we must become detached through devotion service to the Lord. If we are not attached to devotion service to the Lord, then we cannot become detached from the modes of material nature. Designations and attachment are due to our lust and desire. Our wanting to lord it over the material nature. As long as we do not give up this propensity of lording it over material nature, there is no possibility of returning to the kingdom of Supreme, the Sanatana Dharma. That eternal kingdom, which is never destroyed, can be approached by one who is not bewildered by the attractions of false material enjoyments, who is situated in the service of the Supreme Lord. One so situated was easily approached the supreme abode.
So this verse practically speaks about nirmana moha. We have to be free from this moha. So moha means actually it's a designation Prabhupada is telling. We think that we are son of a particular person, and we think that we are student of that one particular college, think that we are brother of somebody else, we are cousin of somebody else. So with so many relations, I'm a student of this particular school, and I'm an employee of this particular company. So basically this moha, we don't belong to any one of these. The temporary designation. An employee who leaves the job, he joins another job. Now, company, he leaves one company and then joins another company. Now he doesn't have any relationship with the previous company at all. So these are also temporary. So we have to identify the eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. So that is in the form of service to the Supreme Lord. Elsewhere in the Gita 8:21, it is stated, Avyaktoksha ityuktas tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya nanivartante dhama paramam. As I was telling, many more places where the Supreme Lord's abode is described. Avyakta means unmanifested. Not even all the material world is manifested before us. Our senses are so imperfect that we cannot even see all the stars within the material universe. The Vedic literature, we can receive much information about all the planets, and we can believe it or not believe in it. All of the important planets are described in the Vedic literature, especially Srimad Bhagavatam and the spiritual world, which is beyond the material sky, is described as object, unmanifested. One should desire and hanker after the supreme kingdom, for when one attains that kingdom, he does not have to return back to the material objecta. Next, one may rise to the question how one goes about approaching that abode of Supreme Lord. Information is given in Bhagavad Gita 8th chapter. It's said there, Antakale cha mameva smaranutva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshayaha. And another at the end of life, and whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. One who thinks of Krishna at the time of his death goes to Krishna. One must remember the form of Krishna. If he quits his body, thinking of this form, he surely approaches the spiritual kingdom, Madbhavam, because the supreme nature of the Supreme Being. The Supreme Being is Satchidananda Vigraha. That's spoken in Bhagavad Gita. Parama Samhita 5.1. His form is eternal, his knowledge and full of knowledge and bliss. Our present body is not Satchidananda. It is Asat, not Sat. It is not eternal, it is perishable. If it's not Chit, full of knowledge, but full of ignorance, we have no knowledge of the spiritual kingdom, nor do we have perfect knowledge of this material world. There are so many things unknown to us. The body is also Nirananda. Instead of being full of bliss, it is full of misery. All of the miseries we experience in the material world arise from the body. But one who leaves this body, thinking of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Person of Godhead, at once attains Satchidananda body. So here also Prabhupada stressing a little more about how the difference of what he's speaking about there in the spiritual world, which is not this world. Our body he has Asat, Achit and Nirananda. So whereas spiritual world, everything is Chit, Satchidananda. So that Parabhyakti, how to go there? It's very simple. At the time of quitting this body, we have to simply remember Krishna. We remember Krishna and then we go back to him. So our whole endeavor is to develop consciousness moment to moment. We are completely absorbed in remembering Krishna. If we can do that, then we'll go back to God. Because when we absorb ourselves in Krishna, day by day, when we practice, then only actually at the end of this life, we can actually remember Krishna. So our whole life is meant for only to reach to this end of remembering Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we'll see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Swami Prabhu, thank you so much.